1250 and 92.9 WAME and W225BD Statesville. Real Country WAME.
Welcome to Racing Roots with Hamm.
If you don't know our host, David Hamm, he's a 25-year NASCAR veteran, engine builder, and jackman.
Live every Monday evening, we have a new guest
From the racing world with their stories, their paths,
their racing roots.
Now here's our host, David Hamm.
And good evening, everyone. Welcome to Racing Roots with Hamm on this fine, beautiful Monday evening. Sun shining outside and sun shining in the studio with us because we got Mr. Dirk Bumgardner. But really, it's the sun shining because we got your wife, Debbie, in here.
Exactly.
She's a ray of sunshine. Look at her smiling. My goodness. She's beautiful.
Couldn't get her on camera, but...
Yeah, we'll get her on here. We'll get her over here to sit beside you and talk a little bit about racing. And wasn't she involved in racing in some way or another?
No.
Okay, she wasn't.
She wasn't.
Just because of you?
Just put up with me
Yeah, I
being
put up with
involved with it.
That's right. Well, it's so good to see you. I hadn't seen you in many years since we worked together out at Robert Yates Engines. But we'll talk about that. But what year did you leave Robert Yates?
In
2005. Okay.
Yep.
All right. That's probably about right. That sounds about right. Yeah, that's good. So, but I'm going to tell a little bit about you right quick. You worked at Whitcomb Racing with Derrike Cope whenever he won in 1990. He won the Daytona 500.
Yep.
And he also won Dover that year.
Yes, sir.
I believe those are his only two victories in the Cup Series as far as I know.
Yep.
Right? Okay. And then you, I'm not sure about where you went exactly from there, but I know you worked at Robert Yates Racing and you were with the 99 championship team.
Yep.
Back in 1999.
Yeah.
Coincidentally. But we'll talk about, we'll get into your whole career, but we'll start out with your the beginning. Where were you born? You were born in a drag car, it sounded like.
Yeah.
That don't sound right.
I was born in Gaston County, local.
Gaston County.
And I always felt blessed to be from this area.
Mm-hmm.
To want to be involved in this sport.
Well, you were in the right place to get into the sport. I mean, you were right near Charlotte.
Yep, exactly.
I always tell people that whenever Charlotte was like Race City USA back in the day.
Right.
Remember that?
Yes,
Instead of Mooresville.
Yep. Everything was in Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
Downtown Charlotte was the celebrations and leading up to Charlotte's big races and all. But
yes.
I was born into a racing family. My father was drag racing.
Drag racing?
When I was born.
Okay.
Yep. He ran what was called an A-gas. And funny story that...
Get a little bit closer to the microphone so we can hear you.
Okay.
We want to hear you, Dirk. Yeah, right.
You got to teach me.
Yeah, that's all good, buddy.
When I was just 2 or 3 years old, my mom got to missing me one evening, and she found me. I was with my dad under his hot rod, working on his... I was helping Daddy.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So your dad was probably your inspiration for getting into racing, I guess, right?
Yes.
In a way,
Yep.
in a big way.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yep. He and my brothers, Dean and Dale, would go to Hickory. You know, as I got older, we go to Hickory Speedway. A lot of people's heard of Hickory.
Oh yeah.
But
it's been around a while.
Yep.
A minute.
We'd go there a lot and watch some of the greats.
Yeah. Did you ever go to any of the dirt tracks in Gastonia?
Oh yes.
Carolina and
Yep.
Gaffney.
Carolina, Cherokee down in Gaffney.
Yep.
Metrolina. Had lots of friends that ran different dirt cars, and you know, trying to help those.
Yeah. That's kind of where I got started out. It's my friends, my neighbors, and then my former brother-in-law. Anyway, they all went dirt track racing out at Carolina Speedway and then in Gaffney and all. And that's pretty much what got me really interested in racing. So I understand.
Bob and Doug Cooper. Bob is the mechanic. Doug Cooper was the 1960 Grand National Rookie of the Year. And they was from my area, my neighborhood. And I even went with them some to the Gastonia dirt track years ago.
Hold on. So there was a Doug Cooper that lived up the street from me, did it in a trailer park and over. It might have been, well, he had two sons at this point. I wonder if it's the same guy. He raced. His name is Doug Cooper.
Doug, yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if it's the same one. We lived down beside the airport.
Yeah, I'd say it was.
And,
yep, Doug Cooper
how
was
about
the
that?
driver, and Bob, his brother, was the mechanic.
Well, I'll be darned.
And Hamm and Moody offered him a ride.
Wow. Because we live right
Yes.
near Hamm and Moody.
Yep, Hamm and Moody offered him a ride, and Doug said if my brother can come, and they was not interested in his brother coming as a mechanic, so he didn't go.
Oh,
Stayed with
man.
the family.
What about that?
But he was 1960 Grand National Rookie of the Year from our neighborhood, which
Wow.
I was all pretty proud of that. But that was the experience going with those guys because
Yeah.
They were pretty old school.
Yeah, I remember seeing his car, and I thought it was the coolest looking dirt track car. He had the wheels cut around, the wheels cut out, and the wheels were sticking out outside the car. It was, I don't know, just one of those things I remember from a kid. Yeah, small world. How about that?
It really is.
All right, so if y'all don't see Tracy in here right now, she is over with Will Cronkite having dinner at Broad Street Burger across the street here. And she's supposed to join us for the show, so she must have got to talking or something. I don't know. She even asked for a to-go box about 30 minutes ago. So I believe her and Will have gotten to talking quite a bit. But Will Cronkite's going to be on our show next Monday. He's been on the show a couple times.
Very interesting individual.
He is.
He's accomplished a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yes. He provided the first competitive race car for Dale Earnhardt Sr. in 1978. You know, White Crown Engineering was the name of his business.
Number 96.
Yep, he had a number 96. That was it. Yeah. A white car and a red number on the side. And Dale Earnhardt got in there and ran pretty good. Yeah. I think he finished 8th in the Charlotte World 600 race that time. Anyway, went on and raced some more races, Talladega and such. But, you know, Will was on the show. And then a week later, Dale Earnhardt Jr. called up Will to come on his show.
Awesome.
So, yeah, it was like, that's how things get around sometimes, you know.
That's right.
All right. So back to your upbringing. So you were born in Gastonia and raised around the racing.
Yep. A lot of the dirt tracks, you know, going and, like I said, just helping some friends, and never really was able to participate in
driving,
racing any of it. Yeah.
You didn't drive.
But I got into, well, my oldest brother Dean, got into the SCCA racing. Okay. And along about 75, I think, 74, 76, somewhere in there. And I would go and help him, of course, because it was a race car. It was, even though it was a showroom stock class, we had lots of fun with that. And then as I grew older, one thing or another, got doing different things that young boys would do.
Yeah. How old was your brother? Older? I mean, how much older than you?
He's 10 years older than me. He's 72.
He's 10 years older than you? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Dean, right?
Dean. And the middle boy, Dale, he's 4 years older than me.
Okay. So you're the youngest?
Yep.
All right. There you go. Yep. So you learned a lot from them older brothers, I'm sure.
Yep. There was always some kind of hot rod around.
Yeah. Cool.
Whether it was a racing go-kart or a
street rods,
69 Roadrunner, or which my brother had, or you know, something. My dad, I can remember him rebuilding carburetors on the kitchen table. Okay.
Yeah, on the kitchen table. I'm sure your mom loved that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He throw it in a dishwasher when it cleaned up.
But he was known for being able to take care of carburetors.
That's a good job.
Fine-tuning.
I just got a new dishwasher for Tracy. Well, it's used, but whatever. It works great. And she actually picked it out. And so I was thinking, you know what? I'm going to take a carburetor in there. She's always getting on me about not loading the dishwasher. So she's not here right now, so I can tell you this.
Right.
I'm thinking what I'm going to do is take one of my carburetors that I've got in pizzas and take it in there and just load it in the dishwasher.
When it started clean.
And then whenever she goes to put stuff in it, she's going to be like, what in the world is this doing in here? And I say, you always get on me about not loading the dishwasher.
Just trying to load it up.
Sorry, you just gave me that idea, and I had to run with it.
Don't blame it on me.
Yes. It's all your fault when it happens, Dirk.
Don't blame it on me.
Yeah, buddy. All right, so back to your story.
Yep, it's all good.
Dishwasher.
So sometime later, I guess you'd say, I got to running with a crowd that wasn't as desirable.
Yes.
It was
they were troublemakers.
It's not a good path, and that's probably what their parents were saying about me too. But
maybe so. Yeah.
And a couple of them got into some serious trouble, and I guess I was about 19, 20 at this age, this time. And my oldest brother Dean calls me one day and says, "Hey, I'll buy a race car if you'll buy a tow truck to tow it with."
All right.
So we're back in the SCCA racing, but it was in a grand touring class.
Tell us about that series. I'm not real familiar with it.
SCCA is the Sports Car Club of America. It's club racing, and they have lots of different classes within, or divisions within a class. They might have 3 different races going on at one time on the track, but they have lots of different divisions, like I said, showroom stock or grand touring or what they may call a sports racer. But it's a wide variety of vehicles. but you're scored within your own class. But he bought a 1969 Datsun 510 that had never been titled for the street. It was taken off the showroom floor, made into a race car.
Wow. Okay. Nice.
Which was pretty big back in that time. But so this was late 70s, and we he got that car, and we went racing. I was helping him with some friends, my brother Dale, my dad, and Jeff and Curtis, and anyway, we had a lot of fun doing that. And then once I got 21, then I could drive. You know, I was old enough where I could drive, and I drove a few times to Charlotte and Road Atlanta, and had a blast. Little 1.8 4-cylinder that would do 140. You know,
yeah.
So it was the first engine I ever built.
Okay.
But,
was that a Toyota or what?
a Datsun.
Okay.
Nissan.
Yeah. Okay, Nissan.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
back then they were Datsuns.
Yes, I remember those.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it was a way to go racing. Yeah, it wasn't the local short track of Hickory or dirt tracks or what have you, but it was a way to go racing. It was a blast. Had a lot of fun.
Sure.
A lot of good memories.
Yeah.
And
so that's what led you into getting interested in NASCAR, I would assume.
Well, it was, yeah, in a way. It was always, it led into NASCAR, but I was always interested in NASCAR.
Yeah.
I was a huge David Pearson fan.
Oh, yeah.
Until,
Same here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with the Wood Brothers.
Yeah.
But,
I wasn't a big Petty fan. I was, I mean, I am now, but I wasn't then.
Right.
But I was, David Pearson was my driver. So they were, you know,
Same.
Petty and Pearson were fierce competitors back then.
Same for me. And as I got older, and those guys careers have, you know, ended.
Yeah.
I like Petty now more than I did then. Of course, then I was pulling for Pearson.
Yeah, got a lot of respect for Petty. I mean, gosh.
Oh, yes.
Still around, still
Definitely.
going, you know, just.
Maurice Petty.
Yeah.
All their innovations, all they've done, which I've learned a lot about on different podcasts and
Yeah.
whatever. But, yeah, guys are very...
Kyle used to call him Uncle Morris.
Morris.
Yes, he'd say call him
Uncle
just
Morris.
like that, Uncle Morris.
That's funny.
Yeah, he was telling me one time about, so, you know, I was the jackman for Kyle,
Right.
but he was telling me how I asked him if he'd ever been on a pit crew, in which I kind of knew he had. And he said, yeah, I was on a pit crew. He said, I was the tire changer and I was a jackman. He said, I tried to swing that jack around like Junior Johnson, and he said it just stuck right between the roll cage and in the car inside, right through the sheet metal. And he said he couldn't get it out. So, and then he also tried his hand in changing tires, and he said he looked up at Uncle Morris, and he said, "How many lug nuts did you hit?" And he's like holding up 5, and then he went like this. So he only hit 1 lug nut. Yeah, so that was a bad.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
But I'd say it happens to everybody.
Yeah,
everybody
sure.
has their first time across the wall doing something.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, there's Christian who's coming in here to hang out with us. All right, hey Christian, come on over when you get time. Tracy is, I guess Tracy's still next door, but anyway. All right, back to your story.
Yep. Well, let's see, where was I? Talking about the 510 and SCCA racing.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, in SCCA, I met this guy. He was running one of the I guess I would call the upper echelon classes as GT1.
Yeah.
He was running a Corvette by the name of Stewart Ramseur, which was from Lincolnton, near me. And we became friends. We were about the same age. And him and his family had an awesome racing operation for club racing and went to the national championships each year. But so once I got to where I couldn't afford the club racing myself anymore, you know, life happens. Bought a house, got married, you know, bills started piling up. Not piling up, you know what I mean? Bills start coming in, so couldn't afford to race anymore. And Stewart went bush racing. So I started helping him. This was when the V6s were coming in, so he would buy V8s for next to nothing, and we'd go try to make some races, you know.
Cool.
And so that was...
The Ramseurs, they're my family out in the
really?
Lincolnton area out that way. Yeah, small world once again.
His dad's name was Bob.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I'll go back to the Civil War time. Stephen Dodson,
Oh, wow.
Ramsor,
Yeah.
yes, and the Ramsor's Mill and all that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway,
Awesome.
yeah. So,
But so I was trying to find a way to get into the sport, and my brother Dean read an article in the Charlotte Observer about how some of the independent teams would use volunteer help.
okay.
So Bobby Waywack, if you remember him,
What was his last name?
Bobby Waywack,
Waywack. Okay.
number 74, always had a yellow number 74
Okay.
Buick or
That name does sound familiar for sure.
maybe Monte Carlos, but so I contacted him and went to North Wilkesboro for my first race, and was what they call running gas.
Oh yeah.
They done
Running
fill in the
gas.
car. I'd carry the cans to the pumps, get them filled up, and come back.
What year was that?
I'm thinking it was mid '80s.
Okay. Hey, let's say hey to Christian right quick.
Hi,
Here's
Christian.
Christian Wilson.
How you doing?
Good afternoon.
It's good to meet you, sir.
Good to meet you too.
How was traffic?
Charlotte, typical Charlotte.
Yeah. Did it let up any when you coming up 77? I mean.
Oh, it usually lets up when you're about like 15, 20 minutes away from Statesville.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That's when it starts lessening down.
Yeah, so you are listening to us on the radio right now. You're okay on 77. It's just he was coming from Charlotte, so the traffic was really bad. You know how it is. I hate that traffic. Anyway,
But
North Wilkesboro,
yep, Bobby Waywack.
Bobby Wayback. Yeah.
And so the very next race was Rockingham.
Okay.
So I go to Rockingham. So now, instead of just going race day, I go to where I can be there all day Saturday, help them do whatever on the car, you know, and probably camped out in the tent. I don't remember.
Okay. Yeah. Whatever you had to do, right?
Paying our own way.
Yeah.
And race morning, the race is about to start. Got the pit set up, and Bobby says, "Hey, you want to change tires?" It's like, of course.
Yeah.
I'd never even held an air impact wrench in my hand,
Oh,
much less running off of
sure.
compressed
Compressed nitrogen, or whatever. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I couldn't remember what they used, but yeah.
Yeah.
So that day was a challenge, to say the least.
Sure. How'd
Had
that go?
some issues. Not
Oh,
too
yeah.
good.
A few issues. Not too good. Okay.
First stop went great.
Yeah.
And that was all I needed for my confidence. That first stop, I was changing rears, and so after we done two rights, and then under the same caution, they said, "Okay, catch up. We'll come around. Going to do less." And so I get the lug nuts off. I'm like, man, I'm flying. You know, gas is dumping on me. This I have arrived. You know.
Yes. This is where you
And,
grand entrance.
and I go to grab the wheel and it won't come off. I realize the car's not off the ground.
Oh,
I look up and the jack man's coming over the wall with the second jack.
Had a broke jack.
You know what that's all about, right?
Yeah, I've had that once or twice, I guess. Yeah.
So I grabbed 3 lug nuts just like they taught me. Stick them back on the studs, reach down, grab the impact wrench, and he takes off.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So you had a
That wasn't
tire.
That wasn't
Okay.
good.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of guys putting lug nuts in their mouth and
Yep.
doing? Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Lug nuts in the mouth, on the
Never
belt.
understood that. Keeping it in your mouth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Choke on them. Anyway.
And
yeah.
you didn't care which direction you got them on. You're just trying to get them on at that point. But
Yeah, I always kept them on my belt. I had like a tie wrap, and then I'd have a zip tie, and I'd have a
Right.
couple lug nuts on there, just in case. And I would see it happen, you know, because I'm watching. I have to, as a jack man, watch front and rear, seeing. And if I see one pop off, I just grab it and put it on there.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway.
Keep that guy from having to set that wrench down.
Yeah. All right. So needless to say, y'all didn't win the race that day.
No.
Okay.
Bobby was a great guy, family-run operation. I would travel an hour and 15 minutes after my day job to go help him in the evenings, bust tires down or clean the shop, whatever, and that was all volunteer work as well.
Yeah. All right.
So I was doing this for free.
Well, that's the way it used to be back then, you know. And we'll
Right.
get into that. Let's take a quick break, and then we'll get back. We'll get into talking about how things were back in the day. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. We got Dirk Bumgardner in here with us on Racing Roots with Hamm. Y'all don't go anywhere.
Seasons change and spring is coming, regardless of what the groundhog said. The grass is turning green and the daffodils are blooming, and for some people that means seasonal allergies. It's you. Miss Daisy's is here to help. How about a 600-count bottle of generic Benadryl for only $5? There's also brand name allergy medicine, eye drops, and nasal spray. There's lots of new spring and summer clothing items for the entire family, including kids' Champion brand 3-piece sets for $8. Ladies' Levi jean shorts for $30 and men's shorts starting at $15. They also have lawn and beach chairs, patio chair cushions, water hoses, hummingbird feeders, bird seed, and don't forget about the sunscreen. Miss Daisy's is fully stocked with a variety of it for less than other places. Also take advantage of the winter clearance sale going
Okay, here we go. We're back to Racing Roots with Hamm and Will Cronkite. Good having you. Enjoy dinner. Very nice.
Appreciate what you do for me. Appreciate what you're doing on this show. Nice to meet you.
Absolutely. And we'll see you next week, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Looking forward to it. That'll be great. All right.
That's
Yes.
a legend.
Oh, yeah, legendary right there.
That's a legend.
Yeah, we were talking about him before the show, and you were saying how that man's done it all, seen and done it all.
Yes, he has.
Much.
We did. When I was a young guy.
Yeah, you can hear he's leaving now. So yeah, yeah. So next week, tune in for that. We'll have Will Cronkite in with us. That'll be good. Have him back.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So where were we? We were going to talk about how things are different now than
Yeah.
they were back then.
Well, I got into the sport helping the independent Bobby Waywack, and helped him probably a season or so.
Okay.
And then the way to get into the sport, if you didn't know anybody, the only way I knew was you'd volunteer work. So you'd volunteer at the tracks, any track you could travel to on your own expense, and you'd volunteer in the shop in the evenings, doing whatever. So that was the route I took, because it's the only one I knew.
Yeah, volunteers. So what was your first job in the next level? Let's say
The next level, well, my first paying job
yeah.
was at Bob Whitcomb Racing.
Oh, okay.
Was in the evenings after my full-time job, $6 an hour, cleaning toilets or
Yeah, whatever you had to
lug
do.
nuts and
Yeah.
whatever had to be done.
Right.
Cutting grass, but just showing up and showing the dedication is what was the goal.
How'd you get that connection there?
All right, I'll back up just a little bit. I was with Bobby Waywack like I said, I think the following year at Atlanta, and we didn't qualify for the race. So I go around the garage talking to some other independent teams about see who needs help for race day, because I'm wanting to stay and work. And that's when I met Elmo Langley.
Oh, yeah, Elmo.
Number 64. And I think Connie Saylor was driving for him then. And so he had me hang around and help him on race day. And then I got to going traveling with his team. And they had a little bit more, the word leaves me. They was able to do a little bit more than, say, Bobby Waywack's team was.
Yeah, they had more money.
Had more resources.
Yeah, there you go.
He had
That's
more
it.
resources. Not a lot more, but just a little bit more. And so I ended up going to Daytona with them the next February and ended up buying an old Ford van, and a Coleman stove, and a Coleman lantern, and was sleeping in that van wherever I traveled to, sleep in the infield so I could go help these guys for free.
How about that?
And that, when Elmo sold his team, I think it was the end of '88 or something, sold his team to Jim Testa in Kings Mountain. He had told me, he says, come see me. I want to put you on full time, which was awesome because that was 20 minutes from the house or less.
Sure, yeah.
Yes. Well, I go see him, and the driver was Derrike Cope. Well, what he didn't know is Derrike brought a guy with him from Washington, and that put him at his budget. He couldn't hire me.
Oh, no. Was it Eric Horn?
No.
Okay.
It wasn't Big Eric.
Big E,
It was
that's right.
Tiny.
Yes. Okay.
His name was Tiny.
Big Tiny.
Yeah, so Derrike Cope was from all the way out in Washington.
Spokane. Yep.
Which is Biffle's from out there way too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You say Washington? I say Washington.
Not the one north of here, the one way west of here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Washington State.
Out above California.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the one.
Very good. You're good at your geology.
Yeah, I like my rocks.
See, I couldn't get that one by her either. So anyway,
Elmo tells me, says, you may want to check with the Bob Whitcomb team. They may need some help. So I did. He gave me a contact there. Donnie Richardson was the crew chief.
Oh, yeah.
And so I go talk to them, and they're like, well, we're not real sure. Things were kind of sketchy for them.
their shop was down beside the airport then?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
The old die guard shop.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. And so during that season, they were running some races, and didn't really have a sponsor. They just going when they could.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, Derrike Cope shows up with the sponsor. He left Jim Testa, came to Bob Whitcomb.
Okay, how about that? Good timing.
Right.
Was
it
that
like
Pure Later?
Small World. Yep,
Yeah.
Pure Later sponsor.
Okay.
And I think that was 89.
Yeah, right. Year before the big race.
So then,
so
Mr. Whitcomb obviously has got a lot more resources.
Yes.
And so he hires Buddy Parrott and brings in several people
Brad.
I had only heard of, had never met. And I'm still part-time. In 1990 is when, of course, we won Daytona, the 500, which was the first 500-mile race that Derrike ever completed.
Wow,
He won it.
How about that? Yeah.
Yep. And I was going over the wall. I was just gas catching, gas catcher at the time. And then later on that year, we won Dover, which at Dover, for lack of a better term, we just absolutely spanked them.
Okay.
At Dover, we were pitting on the turn 4 side of the start-finish line, and we're getting towards the end of a field run, and Derrike comes by us, and when he comes by us, he says, I'm out of gas. We were leading. Like, oh, man, we just gave this away.
So I had another mile to go to get back to you.
Coasted back around, come in, got 2 cans of gas, 4 tires, back out on the track. We're still in top 5.
Hold on, you got to say it like this. We got 2 cans of Unical 76 fuel.
Oh, okay.
And now it's
Too many
Sunoco. but
flashbacks.
Anyway, yeah.
2 cans of Unical.
And a full set of Goodyear's Eagles.
Full set of Goodyear Eagles.
Throw them sponsors in there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stayed off that Sack Creek wall.
Yeah, Quick Creek, Sack Creek. Yeah, oh my gosh, driving. I ain't gonna go that far, but anyway, yes.
Yep. And so we come back out and we're still in lead lap, top 5, and ended up winning the race.
Yeah, wow.
And,
2 wins
yeah.
for someone that had never won in a cup race.
Right.
Yeah.
And Derek's an awesome guy. He really cared about the people, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah.
For me, my first trip to Victory Lane was Daytona 500. And my brother, who helped me get in the sport, was there with me.
That's
as
awesome.
Well. He was there. He was one of the scorers for NASCAR scorers.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that was pretty cool.
Did he run down and?
Oh yeah, he come to Victory Lane and I hear somebody yelling my name, so I look up and he's over at the fence. So I run to the guard. I said,
Come on,
let him
brother.
in. Yeah. So that was pretty cool.
Are you turning that towards me?
No, I'm not.
Please.
All right, yeah. If y'all don't recognize that voice, that's my wife, Tracy.
Late to the show.
Yeah, where you been, Tracy?
Oh, I was just having lunch, well, dinner with this very nice gentleman, Mr. Will Cronkite.
Yeah.
He knows I eat super slow, so he was very kind enough to sit with me.
Yeah.
Didn't run out on you, huh?
He didn't. Well, it took them forever to get our order and then even longer to get our food. And by the time I had 3 bites, David needed to go. So I was like,
Oh, I was done eating.
here we go.
That's how fast I am. Yeah. So anyway, it was good.
At least somebody didn't leave me.
Yeah. Well, you asked for a to-go box, and you ended up not using it, I guess. Okay.
Yeah. Since he stayed, I decided to eat.
All right. Say, who do we have on listening right now?
So we have Stoney,
Hey, Stoney.
Dargan. Dargan says, is Doug related to Dirk Bumgardner?
No, sir.
Dickie Dennis is watching.
All right, Dennis.
Josephus.
You know Dickie. Yeah.
Just through the show.
Oh, God, yes.
Josephus is
story.
watching.
Hey,
Leland
Joe.
Johnson. And me.
All right. Hey, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. If you're listening on the radio and you'd like to join us here live in the Randy Marion studio, go to DHammiam on YouTube, and you can see Dirk Bumgardner in here and his wife Debbie, which we'll turn the camera on her in just a little bit. But anyway, you see Tracy and you've got Christian here as well. You'll see Christian's T-shirt.
I was trying
Very
to make
nice.
it out earlier sideways, and I finally saw what it says.
Jeff Gordon.
Yep.
Jeff Gordon.
So yeah, speaking of 1990, I remember going and watching Jeff Gordon racing in that Baby Ruth #1 car, and it's like he ran the Carolina Ford car as well or something.
Yep.
And so it was way back then. I'd go to Darlington, Rockingham, and Charlotte religiously, and watch them racing the Busch races, and then I'd go as many Cup races as I could. But I was working at a dealership then, and we always got tickets to the races. So
There's
that
a
was
little
that perk.
little unknown fact. I have never shared this with you,
Yep.
but I was at the hospital, what they call shadowing nurses, on the day that Jeff Gordon and his wife were in there having their first child.
Oh, how about
Wow.
that?
I wasn't in the room, but
Yeah.
I was at the hospital at that particular time.
Okay. That was must have been with Brooke.
The first wife.
All right.
But
Very
still,
good.
interesting.
That is. Where
useless
was that
knowledge.
at in Charlotte?
That was in Mercy South. Now,
Yeah, so you got to throw that information in there.
yeah. Why?
Mercy South in Charlotte.
It's Pineville.
Oh, well, yeah. It's still, okay. Gotcha, Pineville. I know where that's
Pineville
at.
is near Charlotte, but it's
It's right there on the
other
edge.
way
It's
instead of
own
going
entity.
north.
It's South Charlotte,
And
way
edge.
south. Yeah.
I used to live down the street from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, shadowing. I was shadowing for a nurse because I thought I wanted to be a labor and delivery nurse.
Well,
And working in a nursing home changed that for me.
okay.
Yep. Because we had
You
to work
ever-
there too.
There any racing drivers in the nursing home?
Was there any racing drivers? No, but there was some very well people.
All right. Well, hey, since we got Tracy in here, we could talk a little bit about her dad, Kenny Thompson.
Yep.
Yeah, I got his cards in my purse, and I'm going to make sure I carry them with me because he's coming on the show
Awesome.
He is. What is that date again?
May 8th.
That's right. He's going to. It's going
Him
to
and
be.
the Bandit.
Yeah, the Bandit, Gail Wilson.
Cool.
We'll be with him. Yeah. Might try to get Harry Gant to come in too.
And guess what? David's going to give up control and let me interview my dad.
Oh,
That would be awesome.
Yeah,
That will
maybe.
be.
Didn't know that.
Do I have to? I don't even have to show up.
No,
I'm kidding.
you still have to do the controls, but
right.
you know, you don't get to talk.
I don't get it at all. That's gonna be a tough one. I don't know if I can handle that. now.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, she told me
David
that one
not
other
talking?
time. Yeah, she told me that one other time I was going to do the show, or you were going to do the show, and I was going to be the guest.
You were the guest, and
Yeah.
remember?
Yep.
Yeah, I did the show.
You did.
I missed that one.
You'll have to go back and
I
watch it.
will.
It had a lot of comments, a lot of views, and
I'm sure.
a lot of activity.
I've seen this Jackman in action before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we had the thing there at Roush Yates. We had our little pit crew
Pick for the
competition.
competition.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
We came in second.
Yeah.
Was that when he
And,
had his Elvis wig on?
That's the picture I should have put up. Yeah. Well, that was the next year. I should have had the picture of us, our pit crew. I forgot about that. I forgot that you were on my team too.
Sleeveless shirts.
Yeah.
And
Sleeveless Bob.
We really won, but the way that it was done, the judges, the development guys, whatever, there was a little bit of cheating involved there. Anyway, all right,
Yeah.
It
so
sounds
we're
like the
agreed.
Amazing Race.
we had the best time of the day.
That too.
What year was that?
We did. You did.
God, that had to be 03. No. Yeah, 03.
Or 04.
04. Something
Yeah.
like it. Maybe 04.
Yeah, and I think we did it again in 05. And
After I left.
After you left.
Yeah.
And then we were flying Elvises. We had a pit crew competition amongst, I think there was maybe, I don't know, 10 maybe, if that many. There might have been.
Cruise.
Yeah, different
teams.
pit crews because it probably wasn't 10, but anyway, we all had our own theme. Like one was the Flying Hawaiians and stuff like that. So yeah, it was fun. Yeah. And,
I say you do it again.
oh, I don't know. Anyway.
Well,
All right.
when we done it in 04, 05, whatever it was, we were joking about when we done it on pit road, we could do it in 20 seconds. Mm-hmm. And then when we were older, we could still do it in 20 seconds.
Yeah.
I'll give you a handicap
right.
score. I'll let you have a handicap
Sounds
score.
like a plan. That sounds good.
Yeah. I need a handicap.
Yeah.
All right. So back to your, you were working at Whitcomb.
Yeah, working at Whitcomb's part-time, and we won the 2 races. And at the end of the 90 season, I think it was, I was at Atlanta again, the fall race. And I got to where my full-time job, I'd gotten up to a few weeks of vacation, but I'd use all my vacation time, using it for travel days to go to the racetrack, because that's what I was really investing in. I was trying to get full-time with the racing. And so the last race of the year, we're riding to the motel Friday evening, I guess, after qualifying. And they start talking about opening our own engine shop. And Monday morning's when they hired me.
All right.
Yeah, hired me and the head engine builder same day.
How about that?
Yep. So that's when I went into the business full time. Was November of 1990.
Okay. November 90.
Yep. And we ran 91 and 92. And then in 93, the haulers loaded up. All the testing's done. Haulers loaded, ready to go to Daytona for the 500. And we find out in the third and final year of our sponsorship, all of a sudden there's problems. We couldn't buy tires once we got to Daytona. Credit cards are maxed out, whatever. So had to move our toolboxes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Had to take our
you were
stuff
done.
home. We were
Yep.
done.
All right.
Locked the doors.
Close shop.
Yep, closed shop. So I took a year off. I was pretty frustrated. I'd worked so hard to get to where I was, and then all of a sudden it's all gone.
But you do know everything happens for a reason.
That's exactly right. It
Everything
does.
does.
You may not have been able to tell me that at the time,
Of course not.
but so I went and worked in the private world for a year, and that was all I could take of that. I got back into the sport, worked for a couple of independent engine shops, and then I got traveling at the track, got to talking to Bob Dale, who was with Jasper Engines, and so he put me on, and I was there a couple of years, One funny thing that happened there was that I don't want to name the driver, but he had never been able to qualify at North Wilkesboro. North Wilkesboro, everybody knew it was slick. It's where you took your weakest engine because more horsepower there just hurt you, burnt the tires off, whatever. And this is when the truck series was just getting started, and they were running the 9.5-to-1 compression engines and with the roller camshafts.
Mm-hmm.
So Bob came up with the
Super
idea.
trucks.
Yep, super trucks.
Mm-hmm.
Bob came up with the idea was going to build a 9.5-to-1 low compression engine, but run flat tappets and take it to Wilkesboro.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first race we qualified for at Wilkesboro when we took that low horsepower engine because it was off 150 horsepower
Yeah.
from their cup motor.
Probably helped you on that track too.
Yeah, until the green flag dropped and everybody was out there, and then we
Oh,
dropped like a rock.
yeah.
We was heroes up until then.
Up until that point. Hey, go ahead there, Mr. Caller. Stoney.
Hello?
Hey there.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good, buddy. How you doing?
Oh, doing great, man. I was sitting there just listening to the podcast. You guys are awesome.
Oh.
Dirk, it's great listening to you, and not a lot of questions, but I know where you came from. I think I met you a couple of times, and when right there when you were saying that you couldn't get into North Wilkesboro, did you have Larry Wallace do any of your cams for that 9.5-to-1 engine?
Well, that's a good question because Larry Wallace was infamous cam grinder. I'm not exactly sure, to be honest with you. We got a lot of our engine parts from, God, was it? Oh, that left me. Maybe BSR. That's where we got.
Yeah, BSR with Robbie
blocks.
Edwards up there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if we was getting camshafts from Larry Wallace or not, but I will tell you this: I was at the eye doctor a couple months ago, in the in the waiting room, and there's this gentleman, and who turned out to be his daughter.
Really?
And it was Larry Wallace, the cam grinder.
You
Larry
gotta
Wallace.
be kidding
I am
me.
serious. Larry Wallace of Home and Moody. I said, you got to be kidding me. I wouldn't have recognized him, but he is still working, still grinding cams. It was F-72, F-78 cam or something like that.
How about that?
The infamous Ford cam.
I still have a couple of his camshafts, and we used to call them bump sticks back then.
That's right, bump sticks.
Yeah, and then he started calling them 3/4 cams, when they put them in the motorhomes. And it was like, man, you ain't got nothing on Larry Wallace.
That's right. Yeah, but I couldn't believe who I was sitting there talking to. It was Larry Wallace.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
Yep.
Hey, listen, I was just checking the show out and enjoying all, from the way you came up and living in a van and getting your camper and stuff like that.
Exactly.
That's how we grew up.
That's
and
right.
I think I met you quite a few times.
You and Clint.
And,
Brother Clint, right? Yep.
Yeah. I love you, brother, and I'm proud of everything you've done for this sport. So I just wanted to say hey, and I love you, man. I can't wait to see you again. We're supposed. Are you going to be at the Racers reunion in September?
Well, I'll have to see exactly when it is. Honestly,
it should be in September, September 14th, something like that.
I did
but
not
I'd
make the
love
last
to
one.
See you again, man.
I need to do that. I really do. I didn't come to the last one for whatever reason, but I know there'd be several people there. I'd love to talk to again. Chief, and of course I know David went. And
Oh heck yeah!
Yep. Hey, Stoney, do you remember the 1990 whenever the Derrike Cope won the Daytona 500?
Oh yeah, I definitely remember that. I was pulling for him so hard, and you know what? When Derrike Cope won that race, they had so many things go wrong, and they They calculated everything to make it correct. And it was just like, if you can be in the books of the Bible or whatever, that was the perfect showing. Derrike Cope was, he's a good friend.
Yes.
But he had so many things on his shoulders that, Dirk and everybody took off of his mind that he can actually win that race. It was picture perfect.
When we left the track Saturday evening to go to the motel, you know how the van ride can be to the motel sometimes very somber. It was not that way. We knew we had a chance. We knew we were fast, but we also knew everything had to go our way.
Exactly, but everything didn't go your way.
It worked out. Yep.
I mean, but you had the tire prep, and tires didn't work out, so the crew chief had to take care of everybody. Everybody knew that y'all were on a vigilant edge to make all this stuff work. You have 43 drivers trying to chase you down.
Yep.
And y'all did it perfect. It was orchestrated. You already had your prep. And, that's what, a lot of times, I teach high school automotive, but you have to be ready for every situation that if this goes wrong, then you have to take care of that. And, Dirk, you and your team, y'all presented everything professionally that it was like, I hate to say it, but it was like a perfect viewing of Frozen.
Yeah. yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
No, dude, and, I'd definitely love to see you again, give you a big hug,
Same
and,
here.
whatever, and, like to get back up there, but if you get a chance, get everybody back on board and let's do the NASCAR reunion.
That would be awesome. Yep, I should
All
do
right,
that.
bro. I love
Thank
you,
you,
man.
Stoney.
Be safe. You take
too.
care.
Thank you.
See you, Tony. Talk to you later.
All right, brother. Love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Good old Stony Ballard there.
Yep. He come from a family of racers. Oh my gosh.
Yes, with his dad Walter Ballard
Yeah.
and his brother Clint and Danny
Yep.
and then his sister Lisa.
Yep.
They were all there with him, or all there racers.
Lots of histories in that family.
What are you gonna say?
I was going to say, I wonder if his students realize how big of a deal he is.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Stoney's
Probably
kids.
not.
It's kind of like I never knew how big of a deal my dad was. I wonder if they know how big of a deal he was.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They're learning. I think they're learning as they watch this show. They learn, about
because he knows
how it is.
everybody.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I met your dad once.
You did?
When I was working, I was building engines at. I worked my way up through the engine shop from teardown guy to engine builder, and just to show you how small of an operation it was, I'm building an engine, and I go to my boss. I'm like, I need the oil pan. I'm ready for the oil pan. Oh, okay. Run up Kenny Thompson's and get it. He's got one ready for us.
Oh my gosh. How about that?
So
Up to Dad's house.
Yep, I drove to Kenny Thompson's. Of course, I'd heard of him, had never met him, but I probably stayed there longer than I should have. But I was just admiring some of his work.
How can you not?
I know, what a talent! It was just I just couldn't believe the amount of talent he had. And this was back in the early '90s. So
Back when he was still building the headers for the Winston.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, every time we go in there, we just look to see what he's doing that's new.
Right.
Every visit.
I'm sure.
What's new in the shop, Dad?
Yeah.
He has a new Austin Healey Sprite, right?
Yep.
We were talking about that before the show.
Yep.
I think I want that car, Dad.
You heard it here.
Yeah, we call it Tracy's car because it's got the Cobra
it's small.
engine.
It's a little
and,
car.
Oh
it's
yeah,
for a girl.
they're tiny.
It's for a girl.
Yeah.
With the Cobra engine.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be big time.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm big time.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
I
She's
can
got a lead
handle it.
foot too.
I just need to learn to shift left-handed.
Oh, it's a right-hand drive car?
Well, you sit in the left-hand side, but the gear shift is over here.
I told her she could do it. It might just be a little awkward to be like shifting with this
I
hand.
said, could you imagine
steering with
trying
this
to
hand.
shift like this?
Yeah, you need to learn to shift.
Shift her left hand.
We'll just have to convert it to automatic.
It's a driver. The driver. The driver's on the left side, just like our normal.
Oh, okay.
But the shifter is on the left. It's against the door frame. Let's say the door.
Yeah, it's up against the door.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, instead of in the
understand.
middle. So yeah. That's
If it was over in the middle, I could kind of see it, but no, it's against the door.
Mm-hmm.
So, anywho, funny story.
Yeah. All right, so back to your.
There is a.
Go for it. You got a question there?
I do. So let's just say, hey, Andrew Jenkins says, I see you, Uncle Dirk.
Hey, Andrew.
Paul and Kit Rodriguez are both tuned in.
Port St. Lucie, Florida.
T Chaps 88 says, hey, Dirk, what was the Whitcomb engine shop like, and did you have any woes getting it and running? Also, do you remember what heads were Chevy? I think by that point, the Pontiac Brodix head was banned.
Yes.
That's a lot of questions.
Yes, and
There was a Hutter head.
I think so.
Yeah, they had Hutter heads and Brodix, but the Brodix was like wasn't that the one that was like the Ford in a way? Well, anyway. Go ahead.
Eventually, yes.
Yeah, eventually, yeah.
If I remember correctly, someone out there can correct me. We were in 91. We were running some 18-degree Pontiac heads, but we had one guy, all he done every day was weld on the cylinder heads to make them 21-degree heads.
Okay.
And the reason that's so big is because it would it'd make the heads soft, so we could run them one race, and then they were trash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we had one guy, all he done was weld. TIG weld those aluminum heads. And like I said, one race they were done.
Yeah.
Far as getting the engine shop up and running, like I said, I was the low guy on the totem pole, but yes, we had to build. This was the old Diagard building, and we had to have the dyno cell, but we had to build a new air intake, the exhaust towers, the dyno brake, everything, the controls. It was just the engine room was a storage room when they decided to open the engine shop. And so it was a lot of work. And the first year for Daytona, the team was going to keep using Keith Thornton engines for Daytona because he had such good structure plate engines. And it would give us another few weeks to get ready so we could build our own engines. Well,
his shop is a performance. What was that one? Keith Thornton's. I was trying to remember.
Keith Thornton.
Yeah. Anyway.
In Concord.
Yeah. I've been there.
Well, we that it didn't work out that way.
Performance specialist or something like that.
I think you're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Performance specialist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we ended up doing our own motors for Daytona and building a shop. And of course, they weren't that good, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we were just starting. They hired a guy came from California that had built a lot of motors for Derrike on the West Coast, Lloyd McClary, and Rick Bonney. Had a wealth of knowledge between the two of those. And there was about 5 of us in the engine shop. We would have to. We did the entire process, just 5 of us. I remember when we first started out, we'd have like 3 motors. One backup motor stayed on the truck because it was so sad. A qualifying engine and a race engine. So every week we'd get the qualifying engine, turned around what we had to do to it to get so the guys could have it in the car shop, put in the car, and we'd get the race motor rebuilt before the hauler left. And I know you've had a lot of people talk about doing things like this, but by the time I became an engine builder, there was many nights I'd never get to go home. I'd sleep. My wife would call the shop in the morning. You know, she'd wake up and I'm not home. She'd call the shop and they'd say, yeah, Dirk's in Bob's office on the couch asleep. So whenever I wake up, I'd get a shower and go back to work.
Yeah.
And one year, for the Daytona 500, you'd take used to run the twin 125s on Thursday. And if you run good and everybody's excited and drivers pumped up, man, that motor runs. That motor runs. Well, you'd take that motor out, somebody'd bring it back to Charlotte, or we'd put it on an airplane, fly it back to Charlotte. And then you had to tear it down, hone it, rebuild it, dyno it, get it back to Daytona for last practice on Saturday.
Yeah.
So your race was Thursday, and it had to be back in Daytona on Saturday morning.
Yeah, I remember us having to do that at Robert Yates Racing
Right.
too. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there was only 5 of us. Richie Gilmore.
Yeah.
And so Richie and I think we was the last 2 there, because Richie was dyno operator and the tuner. So we got the motor rebuilt, dynoed. We went home, got our bag, because we went to work on Thursday morning. And so this is Friday night. We got the motor dynoed and ready to go, loaded it in the dually. We're going down the road. I don't know what time of night it is. It's my turn to drive, so Richie's in the back seat. Crew cab dually, you know, they rode like a tank. We're going down 95, and I wake up and I'm in the median.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Gosh.
I said something like that.
Yeah.
And I wake up. So I bounced it back on the highway. I'm shaking, you know, trying to get the cobwebs out. And Richie, I see him raise up in the rearview mirror, rubbing his eyes. And I said, man, this 95 is rough. He said, yeah, that median is too. So,
Busted.
yeah, I didn't fool him. But anyway, I think it was his turn to drive then.
I was cruising around down. It was in somewhere out in Phoenix, and I remember riding along in the van, and then I had Ivan Scoperton in the back and Donnie Fair in the right front, and they were just talking back and forth. Donnie was kind of turning around that way. Next thing I know, I just dozed off, and I felt, and then I got back up. And I woke back up, and I just acted like I didn't even fall asleep. They never even knew I dozed off. It was like, yeah.
Work a lot of hours, you get tired.
Yeah, that's for sure, man.
So Andrew Hayes has a question. He says, hey, everyone. Was Derrike Daytona 500 winning car or engine ever run anywhere else after that race? I'm assuming the car at least ran at the other plate tracks.
Yes. Yep. That car was in the museum for the first year, Daytona, because they keep the winner's car each year. And we got it back. You know, I'm not sure where we ran it next because there was body changes. And the engine, that was before we had our own engine shop, so that was the Keith Thornton engine. I'm sure somebody ran it somewhere because it was strong.
Sure.
Very strong. But,
Do y'all write your names on the engines?
We didn't then, but
We did that at Robert Yates and Roush Yates.
I was just asking because I knew
Our
David
initials.
did it.
yeah,
Well, we did our initials on there.
we were told to.
Yeah, we were told
Yeah.
to. I think that was, it was a Nick Ramey thing, I believe.
Yeah.
Or Doug.
Yeah.
Either one.
They had us put our initials on the motor. It was explained to me, Robert wanted to be able to maybe walk by an engine, see who built it.
Oh, okay. There you go. I remember being over in the Roush Museum. Actually, it's not the museum. Well, I guess it is kind of. It's at this shop over there in Roush, and they had the old one of the '60 car from years ago that had taken some tumbling Daytona or somewhere. And I remember looking down in there, and I had my initials.
Oh,
on it.
really?
Yeah.
Was that not at the Hall of NASCAR's
I don't remember.
Hall of Fame?
I think it was at Roush Museum. If I'm
I
not
think
mistaken.
I remember seeing one at the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, maybe so. But anyway, that was what was kind of cool about it too. You know,
Right.
there'd be times where you'd see stuff like that.
Yep.
So.
I've seen old Yates cars online for sale. I never have, but I've always wanted to ask people.
Oh yeah.
Tell me whose initials are on that motor.
Oh man, you know
That
what? That's a great idea because Bill Ryan, he's got 68 of these old NASCAR
Wow.
cars. And I never even thought about that when I'm in his shop looking at some of the ones, looking under the hood of the Fords at least, and see them. Yeah, I'll have to do that next time I'm over there. So I've been over there a couple times. Yeah. But anyway, he likes to keep things original, like they were whenever they raced. Yeah. Even to the point of having the same person that had built the original engine to build the engine in the car, or do the
Real country.
Oops, sorry. Do the that station ID.
It's time.
Like Tracy's dad was there, and he was actually looking under the hood, and he's like, I put the floor pans in this car. It was in the old Rod Osterlund number 2 Wrangler.
Yeah, he was
car.
just walking through the shop saying, I did this, and I did this, and I did this.
Yeah, we had engine numbers where they had chassis numbers. They knew their cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dad's got it all up here. T-Chap says, I feel kind of bad now. I asked about the engine shop. Sounds like it brought back some traumatic experiences.
Maybe.
Well, at the time, maybe, but we made them through. But
That's right.
I was considerably younger then, too.
Like I said, everything happens for a reason.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Builds character.
Yep.
That's right. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yep.
All right. So hearing that station ID, that gives me it reminds me that we need to go ahead
take a
and
break.
Take a break. So we'll be right back to Racing Roots with Hamm and Dirk Bumgardner. Don't go anywhere.
Real Country 550 and 92.9 WAME Statesville. Real Country.
Accidents happen, and when they do, there's only one name you need to remember: Statesville Collision Center.
Offers new and used fine jewelry, including unique estate jewelry and an occasional antique jewelry treasure. They also trade in fine firearms, cameras, and electronic equipment, musical instruments, and commercial-grade tools. Statesville Jewelry and Loan is committed to bringing you the best deals around, and they have a great selection of jewelry, but they also have flat-screen TVs, electronics, musical equipment, power tools, firearms, ammunition, and a lot more. Stop by the downtown Statesville store at 110 South Center Street, or the 911 Davie Avenue store, or 265 North Main Street in Troutman. The team at Statesville Jewelry and Loan prides themselves on the expertise of the staff who've been there for many years now. And with that in mind, you can be assured that no matter what service you require or what question you have, it'll be dealt with by a reputable and experienced professional. Follow them on Facebook at SJLCO. Statesville Jewelry and Loan. Hey, Ryan Scott's at the Ford store in Statesville. What's going on here?
I tell you what, Billy Buck, I am so excited. I want to start with the price first. I never do that. How about $29,990? $29,990. Folks, that is a 21 model Toyota 4Runner. I've got a special purchase of SR5s and TRD off-road packages, yes, starting at $29,990. Come see him today. Randy Marion Ford Lincoln. We're right here on I-77. You know where we are, exit 49B. Look for that spinning car, folks, because that is where the deals are. Remember that, $29,990. I'll start with it. I'll end with it. It is a deal today at the Ford store.
All right, we're back to Racing Roots with Hamm, and we got Dirk Bumgardner in with us, and his wife Debbie is sitting over there. Did a little zoom in tour now, so you can wave to the camera. Just wave. There you go. Very nice.
David, he says he took that picture at the RYFK Shop Museum.
Yes, Roush Fenway Keselowski Museum. As I mentioned.
Roush Yates Fenway Keselowski.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Say that in one breath.
Yeah. So who's their drivers?
You tell me. You're the
No,
race
wait
guy.
a minute.
Right
Come
now.
on.
Are you saying like right now?
Yeah, right now.
You know, it's Chris Buescher and Brad Keselowski. Is it the Cup drivers?
Yeah, could you not at least get Keselowski in that, Tracy? Come on.
What?
Roush, Fenway, Keselowski.
RYFK. I said that.
I know, but I asked you who the drivers were.
Oh, I wasn't listening to you.
All right, forget it. Never mind.
I was actually wondering.
It's RFK actually, but anyway.
Yeah.
I was wondering. You mentioned RFK. You mentioned at the beginning of the show North Wilkesboro. I was going to ask you, what's your thoughts on them going back there for the All-Star race this year? And are you going?
Oh yes, most definitely. Some friends, some racing buddies, my wife calls them. We've got tickets already and a camping spot, and we've a few races we go to over the course of the year. But we're definitely going back to Wilkesboro. We went to the Cars race there they had during the racetrack revival that Dale Jr. put on, and it was a phenomenal show.
Yeah, it was.
I think they gained a lot of fans for the Cars series during that event. But yeah. Are you going?
Yes, I am planning on going. I was at that event too.
Yeah.
Cars. I went to the modified race they had last year and the late models
Nice.
event, and it was packed for the late models event. And then I was down like on in the infield because I was doing some media stuff, and there's so many people there. I was like, man, if this is what it looks like for late models, I can only imagine like the All-Star race.
Right, and they've added some seats for that too.
Yeah, they have added more seats, but hoping it all goes well. I'm sure there'll definitely be some traffic.
Oh yeah, there'll be some traffic, but it'll be worth it.
Yeah,
it'll be worth it. I think it's phenomenal what they've done with North Wilkesboro, bringing it back.
They should bring Rockingham back too. I've filmed there the last couple of years, and I'd love to see Rockingham return. They've been doing some stuff over there as well.
Now, I can say as a crew member, I would vote for Rockingham to be a 400 lap race, not 500.
Yeah, for sure.
500-mile races were long.
Man, that was a rough day.
Well, Dover was one of the worst.
Yes, it was, because Dover, I don't know what it is about Dover. You would not get any air down on pit road. Yeah. It was just stifling. It was because you was in a bowl. It's like I've always described it like a Bristol on steroids. But it's an awesome facility to watch a race at.
Right, yes.
It's a great race, but...
1 mile track, 500 laps, 500 miles. It's like ridiculous.
It was rough.
They called Dover the Concrete Canyon, or am I tripping?
Monster Mile.
Monster Mile, but I also heard concrete.
Oh, really? Okay.
Not concrete. Concrete Canyon.
Right.
We're going to give it new names.
Yeah, because it is concrete.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Andrew Hayes says, the track looks phenomenal. They did great getting the track ready since last summer. Definitely excited for the return to North Wilkesboro. That's Andrew Hayes.
So I have media credentials. I wonder if I haven't bought any tickets or anything, and I've been telling myself I need to check into doing that because I have actually, where NASCAR, I got approved to have media credentials.
Awesome.
Depends on when this is. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's coming up in May.
Yeah, it's.
And I asked you if we needed any days in May off.
Oh, well, I don't know.
Just yesterday.
Oh, yeah, but do you have media credentials?
No, but you do, so I do.
So that's how that works out. Okay. Anyway, so.
Okay.
Yes.
Go by yourself.
Well, Christian's going, right?
Yeah, I got my tickets like right when they open.
See? His tickets.
Oh my gosh! Put down the shovel.
I don't even know where I'm sitting at yet, though.
Yeah,
so I'm just waiting on figuring out where to go and all that. So hopefully it all works out.
Yes.
David's notorious for digging a hole.
I know I am. I'm bad about that. Yes.
I've noticed that on the shows.
A couple times.
So one of my new friends on YouTube, his name is Josephus. I like that name.
Josephus.
Yeah, I said his name earlier.
I know that. You've already read his stuff. That's great. I'm just giving him a shout out.
Yeah, Josephus. I like your name.
I like it. It's
That's
like
cool.
You know who the country music singer is?
Bocephus.
Yes.
Yes, I know who Bocephus is. Y'all,
What's
if
his real
anybody
name?
wants to get me anything for Christmas, it'd be a nice new shiny shovel.
Oh, I thought she was going to say a nice new husband.
That's what I thought she was going to say.
Oh, well. All right. So,
nice new shiny shovel.
Anyway, yes. All right. Yeah. So me and Dirk, we worked together, or Dirk and I, we worked together to be proper at Roush Yates. It started out, it was Robert Yates Racing, and then in 2003 when I started there, and in 2004, Roush and Robert Yates merged the teams.
Right.
And Jack actually made the comment that he didn't care for Robert, but he really liked Doug.
Yep.
So,
and I did not know that just until recently.
Yes.
That he made that comment.
Yeah, I did something. We actually, I saw Jack last week. We went over to the new whatever shop it's going to be.
Yeah.
It's got an address now. I think it's going to be one of the machine shops. But anyway.
Didn't you say it's like 80,000 square feet?
It's 50,000, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, and we went over there to have a lunch with Jack Roush and Richard Yates and Doug Yates.
For the birthdays.
Yes, for the birthdays. So I got to, I went over and saw Jack, and I sat down with him, and I started talking to him about, he had called in on my show, and I was like, hey, thanks again for calling in. That was good. We're talking about Daytona. And he pulls out his phone and starts flipping through all of his pictures, and he's looking for his drag car. And, he's 82 years old, I believe he is. And he was finally found the picture of one of his drag car. He's like, this is my new drag car.
Wow.
It was a really pretty looking car. But I'm just thinking, man, you're going to drag race now.
He's 82 years old. He just wants somebody to do it for him.
Yeah. We've been
I'll
out
volunteer.
there. This is what used to happen at work, and you might remember this too. We would all of a sudden we'd hear an airplane flying overhead. It was like, I mean, it just resonated through the whole building.
Yep.
And we go out there and look up, and it's Jack Roush and his P-51 Mustang.
Yep.
And just doing like
P-51 inverted.
Stuff.
Mustang plane.
Yes.
Okay, I'm thinking Mustang like car.
He's come across the shop before, inverted on his way to Concord for their weekly meetings.
Yes.
Inverted.
That's something. Upside down.
And those P-51s sound phenomenal.
They do.
They do.
And he brought some pistons in one time for us to, I don't know why he brought them in, but they were huge.
Right.
They're like this big pistons.
Right.
Goes in
They were
things.
big as he was.
Big as his head.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, it's good to see him again. Good to see Richard Yates. And Richard Yates is 19 minutes older than Robert.
Yeah.
They're twin brothers. A lot of people don't realize that he had twin brothers.
Right.
I think they had 7 older siblings, something like that.
Yeah.
Lots
Robert
of children's.
and Richard were really good to us.
Mm-hmm.
Robert, I went to work there in '96, and funny story. At least they're funny to me.
Yeah.
When I interviewed,
I'm already laughing.
When I interviewed with Doug, I just stopped by there on the way home from work one day, and he says, "All right, hold on just a minute. I want you to meet my dad." So Robert comes out and we talk. Robert sits down. He says, "I don't have but about 5 minutes, but I want to hear what you got to say." So like an hour later, I leave. But during the interview, I told him, I'm not an engine tuner. I've been traveling and tuning, but I don't think of myself as an engine tuner. Well, they hired me. It was the week of the 500 at Charlotte in October. That was my first week. So the second day on the job, Doug comes up to me and says, "Hey, you want to go to the track with me tomorrow? I need you to go tune 27 car, Bill Blair's car for Mike Hill and Todd Bodine."
Huh.
That's kind of cool.
Yep. So I did, of course, because I told him I'd do whatever I needed to do, of course. And so
I'm a car girl.
during
There's a
the
nice car out.
so during practice before qualifying, 27 car we were fast. And of course the 28 and 88, they was fast also.
Sure.
And Robert comes down to check on me and wants to look at my plugs and see how I'm doing. I'm a new guy.
Yeah.
He's wanting to see how it's going. So I show him my spark plugs, and he's looking at them, and we're talking about them, and he looks at me and he goes, "You need to slow that car down." And my eyes get big. I'm like, "Is he serious?" That's what I'm wondering. And he starts laughing. He goes, "No, you're doing a good job." But it scared me half to death. I'm thinking,
What'd
oh
it
my
do?
gosh, what do I do? So
that's good.
Todd qualified in front of the 28 and 88. Oh, 3 qualified in the top 5, but he qualified ahead of them. So
That's awesome.
that felt pretty good.
Yeah, heck yeah.
But have Robert Yates look at your tune. Look at your spark plugs in your tune and tell you need to make one small adjustment. I'm like, well, I've done something right.
Well, did you do it? No, I'm just kidding. Of course
Oh,
you did.
yeah,
Yeah,
most
of course.
definitely.
Yeah. That's something that's cool. I'm in a dyno room like today. I'm in there putting an engine on dyno and whatever. Get about to run. And I'm thinking, Robert Yates used to come in here and run engines, and stuff. It's really cool. It just feels like, and it's funny, like I put a wrench in a drawer and then the drawer starts rolling open and I'm thinking, I wonder if that's Robert. You know what I mean? I don't know. This is the way my head things that go through my head. And it's just nostalgic for me too and legendary.
I got to see it.
Yeah, the dyno room. Yeah, I showed it to you.
His toolbox.
Oh, that, yeah. Yes.
So there is a couple more things that came through on here. T-Chap says, I didn't know till a few weeks ago that North Wilkesboro also has a drag strip that's pretty popular with the no prep grudge racers with YouTube channels. And Kit Rodriguez says, we used to say 500 hours of Dover, LOL.
Oh, yeah.
Josephus says, thank you. My pawpaw gave me that nickname.
Oh, cool.
The
That's
Super
a good
Jason
reason to
says
keep it.
hello. Jim Dooley says P51 Mustang has British-made Merlin engine, Rolls Royce.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Rolls Royce.
They sound phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. Heck yeah.
I may have said that.
Oh yeah, a few times maybe, but yeah. And so Jack Rouse has actually survived 2 plane crashes.
Yeah.
And it's like amazing, man. And still going. I mean, he was kind of like he's flipping through his phone, and his kind of like you could tell his shoulders were getting a little bit wore out because he's kind of doing this, whatever. But he's still sharp.
Been through a lot.
Yeah, still sharp, just like Richard.
Does that look familiar, David?
And, yeah, that's the car.
That's the car.
And
the David signed engine.
Okay.
Wow.
And I had a good long conversation with Doug too. He's always been great.
Wasn't Jack's wasn't one of those crashes in 2003? I'm trying to remember if it was 2003, 2002. I don't remember.
I'm not familiar with the years.
It was somewhere around 2003. One of them was, but it wasn't the year. Yeah, it must have been the year. That's the year they won the championship.
Yeah, with Kansas.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was it. So probably so.
That was the first year of the Roush Yates merger, right?
Yeah, 2000, end of 2003.
Yeah.
I think that was around the time whenever there was a soldier or something that was there fishing, or an ex-Marine or something like that. He jumped in and saved him because it was like in the water or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Wild stuff. Yeah. But I remember whenever we had the merger with Roush and all that stuff, and then we had this big meeting because there was some of us were building engines. We were doing little things different, whatever. So we ended up having this meeting, and Doug actually brought us up whenever he was on the show. We talked about that, the whole meeting and all that stuff. But I remember you looked at me and you were like, "That's a good idea. I like that." Instead of how some people were like, "I can't stand that.
Right.
I'm jealous or I'm envious or whatever." You were always really cool about that. Like. Yeah, that's a good idea.
That's called
and I've always
being
appreciated
a team.
Being a team, yeah, you got that right.
Well, and if you have an issue with an engine, and not everybody's doing it the same, it makes it so much hard to diagnose, to figure out what is going wrong. If you have an issue with a component, why is this guy's engine having those issues and this one's not? But if everybody's using the same technique, and you see a pattern.
Yeah, we pretty much started doing them all about the same way from then on. But Robert McFarland's comment.
It's not Robert McFarland. That says Robert McDonald.
Oh, where did I get that from? Sorry.
You have no idea. Let
Mr.
me do the reading.
Yeah.
Robert McDonald says hello from Venice, Florida, hanging out with Brian Cynical. First time watching, very interesting.
Oh yeah, hey Brian and Robert, very good. Thanks for tuning in.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
When you come to work at Robert Yates, did you work downtown, or was you just once they moved to Mooresville?
I started working at Sabco in '95, and that was off of North Trine, Orr Road, and
Orr.
It was Orr Road. Or we moved to Mooresville eventually.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Up in the business park.
Yes, up there in Lakeside Park.
Yeah, Lakeside.
Right behind the lake. We were the first. Well, we weren't the first place.
Behind Chick-fil-A.
Behind Chick-fil-A. Yeah, that's it. Yes, which wasn't there at the time, but anyway, yeah. They ended up building the Chick-fil-A, which has been very popular. So I was always traveling though with the guys. I would travel with Nick Ramey and all the 28 and 88 were on the bus with us every week. So whenever they won the championship in '99, when they won the Brickyard in '96 and then '99, I was with them all through all those years of all the wins with the 88 and the 98, 88 and the 28. Yeah,
right
through those times. So. Yeah, we would have to wait on them to get to the bus after the wins.
Tech.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and some of the guys were like, "What were y'all doing over there tearing down engines? You're not even an engine guy. You don't even work in the shop or whatever." anyway, that's another story. But they were good friends of mine, so it was all good.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Yep. So I didn't start till I started there in 2003, the end of 2003. So, yeah, and that was right whenever we did the merger in 2000. End of 2003.
The shop was already in Mooresville.
Yeah, it was in Mooresville.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much just opened it up there. I guess it wasn't long before that.
Right.
Anyway, so
that was big, moving that engine shop.
Sure.
That was big because we did it all ourselves, all the guys.
Yeah.
We loaded everything, moved it, but that was big.
Yeah, I'm sure Robert was really involved in it too, because he was a hands-on.
Yep, definitely a hands-on individual.
Mm-hmm.
How long did it take to move everything?
Well, we done because we got to the end of the season, and we did it over the course of probably, I'm gonna say, a week or two. And the biggest equipment, the CNC equipment, they had movers come in and move it, but the bridge ports and lathes and the manual machines, we moved all that ourselves, all the tooling, everybody's toolboxes, which some of them were giant, but we moved all that ourselves. And but we got toward the end of the season, and we got motors built up ahead of time to where we could take a couple of weeks and get things moved, but getting the new shop set up probably took longer than it did to just get the items moved from one facility to the other.
Yeah, we had to do the same thing with Savco. We moved everything, moved the machines. Well, we had somebody help us move the machines, but anyway.
I helped you move machines.
You did?
I have.
Oh, yeah, which ones?
In our shop.
What were they?
The big lathe.
I wish I had a lathe.
What is that one great big thing that's as big as this table?
Let's see here. Oh gosh, the thing that's as big as this table. Oh, that was a crank balancer, a Stewart Warner
Whatever
crank
it
balancer.
was, that something was freaking heavy.
Yeah,
it was.
I'm sure.
I had to take my tractor over there, and then I had to take the tractor off my trailer, strap that thing up, and put it up on there. And
He puts too much manual labor on me.
I said, Tracy, go over there and grab that thing and set it up on the trailer, but she tried and just wasn't working out for her. But anyway, I ended up using my tractor to lift it and set it on the trailer. But yeah, it's heavy.
I'd say it ended up being a good decision.
Yeah, it was.
We moved stuff around in the shop. We were reorganizing it and moving equipment around from place to place. He'd gained some more, so we had to make room for more.
Reorganize. Make room.
Make room.
Yeah. I got a 3,000 square foot shop.
Nice.
It's not too bad. I love it. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. Always stuff to work on too.
Yep.
But it's hard to find good help.
And the dogs love it too.
I'm just kidding. Yes.
The dogs hang
they
out.
do.
In
they hang out with me all the time. So.
There's a table that he uses as a shop table
Yeah.
where he's got a TV and different stuff on there. And the dogs have a recliner underneath the chair, underneath the table, broken off so that the head part is beside the. So they got both of them.
Yeah, they just lay on it. Comfortable.
Poor
Anyway,
dogs.
They both can get on it too at times. Yeah, poor dogs. I know they got it rough.
They don't have to sit on the concrete. They get to lay on a recliner.
That's right.
That's good.
The doghouse is a 24 by 24 with a wood stove and air conditioners and all that stuff in it. So
just
and
in
ceiling
case.
fans.
Ceiling fans.
Just in case, right?
Yeah, just in case.
Andrew Hayes says, how was it the first year working with the people who used to be one of your biggest rivals when the merger happened?
To start with, it was surprising. I knew nothing was coming with the Roush Yates merger, but it went really smooth. It did. It went really smooth. I don't remember hearing any negative conversations about it. The first thing I heard about it was Doug comes wheeling in a motor into my build room, and it was a Roush engine, and says, I want you to take this apart and blueprint every piece of this engine. So I did.
Remember the skeleton?
First we dynoed it, and then we took it apart.
Yes.
And then, but
they were different.
and that's when I'm like, okay, something's up.
What's happening here?
Yeah, because this is, the biggest Ford rivalry. And I know with Ford manufacturing, Robert and Jack usually, I shouldn't say usually, a lot of times they had different ideas about the components they would need to get approved by NASCAR, such as like an intake manifold or set of heads or something. They'd always have different ways, different things they'd be wanting to get approved. And so that put Ford in a bad spot. because they couldn't take 2 manifolds to NASCAR and say, we want this manifolds. They could only take 1.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. There was the one of the biggest differences in the engine was the oil pan design.
Yes.
Remember the orange silicone that Roush used?
Oh my gosh.
Well, I think we call it the skeletons.
Yeah.
They were, they're basically, their oil pan was like orange silicone on it.
Yeah.
If you ever use that stuff, it's hard to get apart. It
And
was a mess.
we always joked about Jack Roush apparently owned stock in the orange silicone because they would take their engines and dip them in an orange silicone vat.
Yeah, it sure seemed like it, didn't it?
Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, that orange silicone was brutal.
Yeah, but it
You're
was so
right.
exciting though. It was very, because once they got in and we got them, our engines basically, with Keselowski, Biffle, and Edwards.
Yep.
When Edwards come along after Jeff Burton left, and man, we won some races.
Yep.
Yeah, it was great.
Yep, sure did.
Exciting times.
The Roush motors, I think, performed a little bit better than we expected them to initially.
Yeah.
They made a little bit better power than we were expecting, but
So I'm going to embarrass David real quick. Are you ready?
Oh yeah, sure.
So last week, or was it this week, that you went to the celebration for Richard,
Yes.
and you said
Last
Doug
week.
cornered you, and y'all were talking, and he just bragged about how much power each one of your engines made.
Well, he didn't corner me.
Well, not
actually went up
corner,
and-
but when y'all were by yourselves talking.
Yeah, I went up and talked to him,
That's
and
cool.
we had some reminiscing about some of the times when, the engine they were running good.
So that's a good brag
That's cool.
moment that the owner of the company would come up to you and say, you know what, your engines were, whatever you did, were some of the most powerful.
yeah, most definitely. That make you feel good.
Yeah.
I just told him what I did was I went back to my.
But don't tell the secrets. People might try.
No, I just went back to my qualifying engine building days, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that, and just tried some of those things.
Oh, well,
That was
kudos to you
Well,
for
thank you.
that.
Thank
That's
you.
an accomplishment.
All right. Well, every engine builder likes to hear
Oh,
that,
yeah.
don't they? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Were you
But,
acting like you don't want to accept it? I mean, I'm not the one that said it. I'm just
acted
repeating it.
casual about it. Like, oh,
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, you want to know that you made more power, and you want to know it doesn't leak.
Yes, it doesn't leak.
And it doesn't
right?
blow up.
Everything's tight.
And it lives. Exactly.
As my buddy Scott Treverson always says, I got the gasket in the right place.
Yep.
And he did that kind of stuff. Yeah, so that makes a difference.
Yep.
Race car, what is it called? Race car tight?
Race car tight.
Race
Yeah.
car tight.
Yeah. Because race cars tend to vibrate a lot, so you got to have everything super tight. You got to torque that bolt to yield, just about. Anyway.
I've done that.
Alright.
Done that too?
I've torqued some bolts.
Yeah. Torqued a few.
I've helped David.
I'm gonna get her out there and do some YouTube videos of
Yeah,
her
he's gonna
torquing
have me
stuff.
do.
Because,
He's had me do an oil change.
Oh.
I might as well go ahead and build an engine. I mean,
Might
got
as well.
got the
Sure.
easy stuff out of the way.
hey, I mean, the shorts do well though. You know, you've been
Yeah.
doing live those recently.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
You can't build a engine short. That's gonna be a long video.
I've done that where I was putting a crankshaft in, and it was a short, and I did it with my time lapse video.
Yeah.
It was sped up. Anyway,
Right.
it's on my YouTube channel. DHammiam, that is. So Hamm is known
For a big engine.
for a big engine.
I didn't say big. I said fast.
Yeah, big engine. All right, so go to the 1999
9.
championship.
Yes.
How was that? Y'all went to the Waldorf Astoria.
Yes.
Oh,
that
in
was
New York.
phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
The wife,
Yeah.
all the wives got to go.
Yeah.
Robert
Very cool.
leased an airplane. I don't remember exactly what size plane this was, but it was just our team and spouses on it. And I think we all had our own row. It was first class for sure. We went and spent the weekend in New York. Had some really memorable times. You know, it's something up until that point especially. I always watched, before I got into sport full time, I didn't miss a race and I didn't miss the awards banquet either. I always watched that and I always dreamed of being there. So here we were in the balcony,
So
Yeah.
is the
That's cool.
Waldorf Astoria the same as it is in the movie Coming
Yes.
to America?
Yeah.
Because that's the
Yeah.
only way I've seen it.
Yep, exactly. Yep, it looks just like that. And what was the store we went in, Debbie, that was one of the Christmas movies were made?
Was it
Home Alone?
A toy store? Home Alone.
Starts with an S. What is it called?
Chris.
FAO Schwartz.
Yes.
FAO
It was just
Schwartz.
like in the movie, too.
Oh.
Because that was one place she said, I just want to go there.
To the toy store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You know what? We need to show these pictures because we're getting down towards the end of the show. So we
Yes,
got this
please
one
do.
here. All right. You
Well, while
remember?
you're finding the pictures, there
Okay.
is another thing on here. T-Chap says, is Roush Yates mainly just for the NASCAR engines? I'm from Michigan. Roush still builds a lot of Windsor-style engines for hot rod, circle track, and short course off-roads.
Yes, Roush Yates is the NASCAR engines only because Doug really likes to focus in on. He doesn't like to get too many irons in the fire because then it takes away from the ultimate goal is to win championships
Gotcha.
at the end of the season. So yeah, that's the way it works out. That's it. Good question though.
Yep.
Now Roush up north, Roush in Livonia. That's
Livonia,
where
yep.
Jack showed me his drag car, and he said it was up in Livonia. So
Isn't
anyway,
there a
that's
speedway in
another story.
Livonia also?
There's the is it a Roush Proving Ground or something? He's got his own. He sometimes had his own track that I know of. That I've heard of. I remember.
I've heard of a dirt track called Livonia.
Yeah, that could be.
Does sound familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, here's a picture of the 32. This must be the SCCA class you were talking about.
That was the 69 Datsun.
Okay, 69 Datsun.
I remember the Datsuns.
I got my
Datsuns.
Richard Petty hat on. I'm in the driver's seat there. It looks like we're going out and looks like it's wet conditions.
All right, you got a cowboy hat on.
Yeah, my brother Dale pushing the car.
What track is that at?
That's
Charlotte?
at Charlotte. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
It's at Charlotte.
GT2.
All right, and this picture here.
Yep. On the left is my dad, and then next is my oldest brother Dean, my lifelong best friend Jeff, myself, and my brother Dale. Anytime there was racing done, there was the five of us.
That's funny. That's cool. That's kind of like, we were talking about Stony Ballard earlier. It almost is like the six pack.
Yeah.
Deal, All right.
Yeah.
There's a.
That's my dad's 33 Ford.
Okay.
Yep. That's what he was running when I was born. 33 Ford, and he towed it with a 33 Ford, a flat tow. Both of them was black.
Wow.
And I don't remember those days because he quit in the early 60s, but Mom always told the story about they were at the drag strip, and then all of a sudden, wait a minute, let me back up. I'm getting confused.
All of a sudden you were there.
All of a sudden I was there.
And all of a sudden, here you come.
Well, no, they was before Dad started racing. They was he had took Mom and the two oldest boys before I came along, took them to the drag strip just to go watch one time, and Dad was like, "Y'all want a hot dog or something to drink, whatever? Okay, I'll be back in a few minutes." She's waiting and waiting. She's sitting there with the two boys. She's waiting, and all of a sudden she hears, next on the strip is Albert Bumgardner. Here he takes the family car.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh,
So
how about that?
that was his first experience drag racing. But yeah.
He went out for hot dogs.
Yeah.
He was seeing how fast he could get them.
Yep.
Oh, it'd be a cool story if he said that you were born in that car.
Well, not quite.
Okay.
There's a Talladega night
All right,
scene.
fine. All right, so let's go to the next one. Well, there we go.
That is, I'm doing Catch Can. I'm not sure where that is, honestly.
Pocono? I can't tell.
Yeah, I
from here.
can't tell either. I'm not sure, but it's in the
Darlington.
early years. It's
Could be Darlington.
Yeah,
Almost
maybe.
looks like it.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. So there's let's see. Is Buddy Parrott changing the fronts?
It could be Buddy Parrott
Maybe-
changing
maybe
and
Brad on the carrying.
Tommy.
Who's Jack? I mean,
Or Brad's back
That's
there.
Richie Gilmore's a jackman.
Okay. Richie Gilmore.
I
I interviewed with him.
Yep.
did you?
I did.
Yep. He's still with
Hardly ever
Childers
talk about
Earnhardt,
that.
I guess.
I hardly ever talk about that even. But
Yeah,
I
I've
did.
never. That's the first time I've heard it.
Yeah. All right. And here's
You know what
Daytona.
that one is?
Yep.
Winner's
1990.
Circle.
Yeah, 1990
Yep.
Daytona 500.
Yep. Can
All
you
right. Can I name some
can
of
you
these?
find me?
Can you
were
find
right,
him?
You're right
Yep.
here. Who's that?
That's Miss Unicow.
Okay.
My wife gives me a hard time.
Say, are y'all?
I'm holding her
It
hand.
looks like she's
I'm
sitting
not.
on your lap.
It looks like I'm holding her hand, but she was actually holding my hand.
I thought maybe that was your wife. Actually, I thought that was Debbie when I saw this picture. Because I just
Did you
saw-
really?
I did.
I can't see it good, but so.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway. All right. So next.
Next, move along.
All right. Come on. Move. All right, sure. Oh, right here. My bad. Okay, there we go.
Yep, same year at Dover. Not quite the crowd, but same results.
Yeah, those, as you mentioned earlier, those Dover races were long, 500 laps.
Yeah.
I mean,
They were brutal.
they were like 4 hours or so.
Yeah.
Does that say Coors Light, Dave?
No, it's pure later.
Oh.
This is Derrike Cope.
I always really liked that car. I have a die cast of that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful car. And that was all hand painted.
Let me see if I can name these guys.
That was hand painted.
I didn't know that.
Okay, there's Dirk on the right?
Yep.
And then Chris Maroc. Is that Chris Maroc? And then Steve Blackwell.
Or Crusher.
Crusher.
Kent Mashburn.
Yep.
Forrest Galloway.
Forrest.
Gallagher. Forrest Gallahan.
Gallahan.
Sorry. Yes. And then I don't know who that is.
Brad.
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 Okay, Brad.
Brad was a fabricator. He'd done a lot of work. Like your dad did the same style of work. He was really good. Really, really good fabricator.
All right, and then there's the 1999 championship.
Robbie Hancock. That's Robert G's son.
And there's is that Jeff Clark's brother? Brian Clark? No, he was on the 28.
Yes.
Okay.
I can't see it.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I'm not sure who it is.
All right. And then this is up at the New York, I guess, the parade.
Downtown New York.
1999.
You want to talk about funny now? A couple of hillbillies in New York City.
Oh, yes. Imagine. There's the group
on
picture.
On the stage. That's the engine shop.
I've seen that
And
picture
there's-
before.
Yeah.
Robert Yates, Jeremy Anderson, Steve Blackwell, Larry Lackey,
Jeremy.
Nick Ramey,
Yep.
Dale Jarrett, of course. I'm skipping through the ones that I'm not sure about.
You're
Doug
not in it,
Gates,
Dave.
Chris England. No, I wasn't there then. I was
Ray Hamm.
I was over at Roush Yates.
Wasn't that Ray Hamm?
That right there is that's
Andy.
Andy, yes.
Yep.
Andy, yeah. And there's Forrest again. There's Richard Yates.
Louis Espinoli.
And Gary Flattery.
Yep.
There's Todd Parrott.
Yep.
And
Is it?
Todd Parrott looks like Todd Parrott to me. Yeah.
Yes.
There we go. Can you see it?
Correct.
Yeah. And then Chuck Blackman.
Yep. Motorcycle racer.
Yeah, that's right. And there's Dirk on the end.
And Steve.
You're on the end.
That's Steve.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And then here we've got the picture of you and Debbie.
Beside the Winston Cup trophy.
Yep, at the banquet.
All right. And then there's you, younger you.
You had the same
I had
sunglasses
hair.
David did.
I had it, we was on the sunglass deal, right?
Gargoyles.
Gargoyles, exactly.
Yes. Yeah, they were great sunglasses.
That's when that was at Darlington.
David's picture like that is beside my bed.
Yeah,
now, after I left Yates, I went to Penske. Yeah. And my son came to work there as well. Worked in the cylinder head department. That's my son. And you know what trophy that is.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Won the Daytona 500 at Penske.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What's your son's name?
Daniel.
Okay.
Yep.
Daniel.
Son Daniel. And he worked with Penske probably 15 years. And he transferred to the car shop before the engine shop closed. And he's no longer there, but he's doing well.
Okay.
Yep.
That's cool.
His wife Molly and their beautiful grandson Bo.
So now I'm going to show you the truck here you were telling me about.
Yep.
There it is. There's
That's pretty.
It's nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
52 Chevy.
Yep.
Do you like for it to be called pretty?
Yeah, it's fine to me.
Okay.
Yep. It's all original.
All original.
Yep.
Okay.
So ask David what we watched all weekend. What did we watch all weekend, David?
We watched a car restoration.
Yep.
Oh,
shows.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It gets
I
me
think
motivated.
it's called Phantom something. Phantom Works.
Phantom Works.
Yeah,
Phantom
like that.
something.
I've seen that.
We've got some comments, Tracy.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Let's see. Paul Rodriguez says Brad Keselowski is going to win a race soon.
Sure is.
Yeah.
Andrew Hayes says kind of looks like Michigan, not sure. Dargan says tell Christian that Livonia Speedway dirt track is in Georgia.
Yeah, I felt like I like heard of it, and then I realized like, okay, well, at Dirt Division we've done a couple races there, so yeah, I was like, okay, that's where I've heard that from. So thank you, Dargan.
And then Andrew Hayes says, hope you got a decent Christmas bonus check in 99.
99 was good.
Yeah.
So good, he still grins.
Yeah. And let me say this, because it left such an impression on me. Like I said earlier, Robert and Doug were great to us. And Richard was kind of, I guess he ran the office and paid the bills and whatnot.
Wrote the checks.
All right. And we always had a Christmas breakfast. And, of course, then we'd knock off and be off for Christmas break, whatever. And at that Christmas breakfast, when they'd hand out our end-of-year bonuses, of course, we got performance bonuses each week according to how we ran at each race. Well, the Christmas bonus was that year, if you can imagine, was nice. It was good. And Richard spoke, and he said, we are very, very blessed. We're very fortunate. And I'll never forget this. He said, just remember those who are less fortunate.
Yeah.
He left an impression on me.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Richard's good.
He's a
good
godly man. He's
yes,
a godly
he
man.
is. Yeah. He's an awesome guy.
He says no alcohol has ever touched his lips.
Yep.
How about that?
I believe it.
Yep.
I mean,
But yep, good man.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Dirk, thank you so much for coming on the show. And if people would like to get in touch with you, or if someone has a question, so there'll be people watching the show tomorrow and then the next day and on whatever. It'll be on YouTube from now on, as far as YouTube's going to be around.
Yep.
And I don't think they're going anywhere anytime soon. So if y'all like this video, make sure you hit the thumbs up if you would. And but if you have a question, and you can put it on here, and then I'll make sure Dirk sees it. And Dirk's going to go back and look at them too as well.
Email me.
Email Dirk.
Yep.
What's your
Dirk,
email?
DIRK Bumgardner, BUMGARDNER @Yahoo.
There you go. If you want to comment to Dirk or send him an email, ask him a question, whatever. Just do it. Just do it.
Just do it.
So, yeah, but I want to thank everybody for tuning in on the radio as well as here on YouTube, and all of our friends who tuned in and commenting and asking questions and such.
I just want to know
Very
if you
nice.
had a good time.
I did. I really did.
Awesome.
I cannot lie. I was very nervous about coming on doing this, but
everybody is.
you guys make me
it
feel
easy.
very welcome, and I appreciate you asking me. Appreciate
course.
you having me. Appreciate what y'all do, bringing to light what everybody's different paths to get to their point in their careers.
Yes, that's
Everybody does have a different path,
Yep.
but they all have a contribution to it.
Yeah.
And we want to hear about that contribution.
Yep. Things have changed a lot.
What little
but-
or big it
Yes.
is.
Right.
You know.
That's right.
Things have definitely changed a lot over the years, and
And they
that's-
will change more.
Yeah, they will. We like to talk
Now we're
about
gonna have
how
electric
different
cars.
they were then. Yeah. All right. So next week we'll have Will Cronkite on with us, so y'all don't want to miss that. And maybe
He
we'll
was
throw
my
in
dinner
some
date.
more surprises, as we go throughout the week. And y'all have a great week, and we will see you next Monday.
Next Monday.
Good night.
Thank you.
Jason.